the chairperson of the African Union, the other distinguished persons who are participating. I have been dealing with the issue of integration of Africa for the last 58 years, actively. First of all, as a student leader, then as a freedom fighter, and then more recently as a leader of government. When we talk of African integration, all these documents and others, there are other documents, we are really talking about 5 issues. 5 issues. In French, we call them 50 or something like that. 5 issues. 5. So, issue number 1 is prosperity. How are the Africans going to be prosperous? The 1.4 billion Africans, how will they be prosperous? You can only be prosperous through production. You produce. Produce what? You produce goods or services. Now, if you produce goods or services, who buys them? Who buys what you produce? Because if you produce a good or a service and you don't get enough buyers, then you can't expand. So the first logic for integration is to guarantee our prosperity through integrating the market. So that when I produce, I'm not worried about people buying. I produce, the more buyers I have, the better. This is point number 1. The logic. It's not just we want integration just as a slogan. No. It is integration in order to overcome poverty, to overcome underdevelopment, but to do them through production. And once you talk of production, you are talking of market. Somebody, enough people buying what you produce. So this is point number 1 about integration. The whole purpose is to guarantee our integration, our prosperity. The second point is strategic security. How is Africa going to be secure? You remember Africa was colonized and we suffered from slave trade. Why? Is it because we were cowards? Our ancestors were cowards? They couldn't fight? No, they were not well organized. They were very brave, but they were not well organized. And being well organized includes organizing on a big scale. If you have got a big country working together, you have got more capacity. Some of the actors in the world have been talking for some years now about what they call 4-dimensional superiority. That they want to be superior on land, they want to be superior at sea, they want to be superior in the Air Force, they want to be superior in space. Space also, they are putting weapons in space. For us, we are just sitting here on Earth as if we are just ants. Some people are looking at us from space. For us, we are here. Uganda, even when we develop, cannot send a satellite in space. outer space. We may have a small satellite nearby, but not outer space. How shall we guarantee our security? All others are going to space now. The Americans are in space, the Russians are there, the Chinese have gone, the Indians have gone. It is only us who are here on Earth. Is that safe? Is that safe? But can the individual countries have a successful space program? Even the big ones, like the ones which are big, like Nigeria, can they manage? Or is it better that we work together? So the second reason is strategic security. The third reason is that, by the way, the Africans we are talking about are actually people who are either similar or linked. There is so much talk about tribes in Africa, tribes and so on. But when you look at these groups, in the whole of Africa, the 1.4 billion people are actually divided into 4 groups, linguistically, if you take linguistic categorization. The first group are what we call the Niger-Congo group of languages. These are all the Bantu dialects from Cameroon all the way to South Africa. Then plus the Kwa group, the languages of southern Nigeria, southern Ghana, and so on. All these are one group. You can call them one nation, the nation of the Niger-Congo, if you use language as a subcategorization. Then you have the Nilo-Saharan. The Nilo-Saharan are the languages of the Nubian, northern Sudan, southern Ethiopia, like the Oromos, the languages of Chad. All those are part of the Nilo-Saharan, the second group. The third group are what we call the Afro-Asiatic. Afro-Asiatic are the Arabic, Amhara, Tigrinya. These are the Afro-Asiatic group. And the fourth group are the small language groups in Southern Africa, the Khoisan, what the Europeans were calling Bushmen. So therefore, the people we want to unite, and there are also linkages. If you see, for instance, between the Bantu and the Nilo-Saharan, there are linkages. If you study the languages, you'll find there are linkages in the languages. Even between the Afro-Asiatic and, for instance, Swahili. Swahili is a synthesis between Bantu dialects and Arabic. About 30% of Swahili is actually Arabic. So therefore, the people you are talking about are either similar or linked. They are people who are connected. They are very easy to, there is a basis for uniting them. So that's the third point. Number one, we need to unite because of prosperity. Number two, we need to unite because of strategic security. But number three, by the way, these are either similar people or people who are linked. Number four, we are very lucky. It's very much easier for Africa to unite than, for instance, Europe. The Europeans are finding a lot of difficulties in uniting. When they unite, they are stuck. What language do we speak? Do we speak English? Do we speak German? Do we speak Italian? Do we speak Polish? Do we speak Spanish? Those rivalries are not easy to reconcile in Europe. But in some parts of Africa, we have got languages which belong to no tribe, to no ethnicity, like Swahili. Swahili is a non-ethnic language. It was developed by the Africans when they met at the coast of East Africa. It belongs to no tribe. It is a neutral language, which all these people can use. If I am Kikuyu or Sukuma or Munyankwere or Baganda, I don't have to insist on my language being the language of the union. We can use Swahili, which is a neutral language, to unite us, which the Europeans don't have. So therefore, we have got that easy infrastructure. In West Africa, they can also either look at Swahili or at the languages on that side. I don't know which one would be neutral. But for us here in East Africa, we are East Africa and Congo and some parts of Southern Africa, we are lucky we have this neutral language which belongs to nobody, which can unite us. Now, finally, and point number 5 is a question. What is the present generation of Africans trying to achieve? Are we trying to build a Latin America in Africa or a United States of Africa in Africa? That's the question that the leaders must answer, or the leadership. About 300 years ago, 1776, the American colonies broke away from Britain, 13 of them, after the rebellion of George Washington. When they broke away, the 13 colonies of America decided to unite to form a core of the United States of America. Today, they have built the most powerful country in the history of man. United States today is the most powerful country, economically, militarily, and so on. Near them, you had Spanish colonies in South America. They also broke away from Spain. But instead of uniting, they remained scattered. Now, after so many years, more than 200 years, we can see the results. In the United States, there is strength, there is prosperity, there is stability. In South America, poverty, instability, misery. That's how you see South Americans walking on foot, running away from misery, running from suffering in South America to the United States. And we have seen the United States leaders fighting to keep them away. Some of them are even talking of building a wall to keep away those desperate people. But South America, in terms of natural resources, is very rich. It's actually richer than North America. If you look at the resources, the Amazon River, the forests, the agricultural land, the minerals like tin and so on, the petroleum, very rich in terms of natural resources, but politically disorganized. So if you don't solve the issue of political and economic organization, whatever natural resources you have, you cannot make progress. So the question I'm asking African leaders, what are we trying to build? Are we trying to build a Latin America in Africa or a United States of Africa in Africa? Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup.